My ex decided not to abort our heavily disabled daughter, and it has ruined her life. 6 years ago, I and my high school sweetheart and then girlfriend discovered that she was pregnant. We were both young 20-year-old kids who didn't think it could happen but thought we were ready to take on the world together. I loved her, and a part of me still does. The idea of us getting married, starting a family, and going from best friends to husband and wife was exhilarating. Then we got word of what we had truly gotten ourselves into. There were signs early on that the pregnancy wasn't viable, but when we did our first rounds of screenings, we learned that the fetus suffered from multiple chromosomal genetic defects and was not developing normally. They had no faith that she would be able to carry to term, and recommended aborting for her own health. I don't know why, but my ex was insistent on seeing it through. I still to this day do not know why. She and her whole family were not religious. She was liberal in many of her views and always seemed to be pro-choice. Yet she refused incredibly adamantly to get an abortion despite them being available to her. It was quickly after this that our relationship went to hell. I didn't want her to carry the child to term, not only because our daughter would live a horrible life, but because in the few weeks after we got the news, I learned more about my ex than in the 4 years we had dated. Even if our daughter was normal, raising a child with my ex became one of my biggest nightmares towards the end of our relationship. In her 20th week of pregnancy, I walked away. After another doctor recommended she abort as they were incredibly worried for her own health, I told her I could no longer participate in whatever game she was playing. I did not want to play caretaker to a heavily disabled child at the age of 20. I would not drop out of school to play husband and father in this twisted world we now found ourselves in, and I would not go down with her on the shipwreck of her own creation. The shit I got for this was tremendous, but I have not regretted it in the 5 years since my daughter's birth. As expected, my ex had incredible health complications towards the end and had to have an emergency section at 24 weeks. My daughter was born with a multitude of issues. At the age of 5, she cannot speak, walk, eat on her own, and must be attended to 24 hours a day. My ex dropped out of college only weeks after, and since then has lived with her parents, being a nurse 24/7 with her mother. If I had stayed in that situation, I would have killed myself long before this point was reached, so I can respect my ex for sticking with it. I have paid child support but have not once even met my daughter in person. I told my ex that day we broke up that I would never be a part of the child's life. I would not support her or this game she was playing by bringing a child into this world to suffer. I would not throw my life away with her. I still talk to my ex only because in the end I still feel for her and provide emotional support when I can, and it pains me every day to see what could have been and what had been yesterday. A friend of mine learned of my daughter. She asked me if I regretted walking away and leaving my ex alone to care for her, and I can honestly say that I do not regret it one bit. In a just world, my daughter would never have suffered such the tragic fate of being born into this world. That is my only regret here.